Okay, today what we're going to do is we're going to look at 3.5. Let's go back to the beginning. Equations of parallel and perpendicular lines, day 1. So let's go ahead and make this full screen. Oh, before I do that, let me open Sketchpad. Okay, make this. There we go. And then the other side we want to be Sketchpad. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, I apologize about the delay. The essential question for day 1 is how can you write the equation of a line that is parallel to a given line and passes through a given point? We are going to look at writing equations, but before that, we're going to do a review of linear equations. So it says review of slope. Graph the points -3, -1, and 3, 3. So what we want to do is graph. Now, the first thing you need to do when you look at a graph, and I understand that this is already filled in. Let me go ahead and erase some of this stuff that I had done previously. The first thing we want to do is identify where the x-axis is and identify where the y-axis is. On this x and y-axis, the bolded line that's running horizontally is the x-axis. And the line that's running vertically, hopefully I have a steady hand, okay, is the y-axis. Okay, so this is our x-axis and our y-axis. And in order to graph a line, we need to first graph the points. So we have the points that they've given us. It's an ordered pair. And whenever you have an ordered pair, it's always going to be, the x is going to be first. So we have -3, -1 as our first point. So the x is always first and the y is always second, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start at the origin, which is the very center. If you highlighted your x and your y-axis, it's where the two shaded colors are going to cross, and you go to the left 3, because as you go left on the x-axis, it's negative. So you go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and then down 1, and you plot your first point. And then the second point is 3, 3. So remember, okay, the x comes first, and then second is the y. And so we start at the origin again, and because it's a +3 this time, we're going to go to the right 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go up 3. Now, this has already been done for you, but just imagine that it hasn't, and you draw your line through those 2 points. After you draw your line through, you need to figure out what is the slope, okay? The slope is the rise over run. So you pick 2 points on the line, and you need to pick 2 exact points. So, you know, you couldn't pick, show you what you couldn't pick. You couldn't say, okay, I'm going to pick a point here and a point here, and I'm going to draw a triangle, and this is going to be my rise over run. And the reason why you can't do that is because you are counting, and you don't really know where this is. Is this 1/2? You know that this is -1, -2, -3, but you don't know if this is -2.5. You don't know exactly where it is. However, if you pick a point on the line, like this one, that you know it's going exactly through a whole number on the x-axis and a whole number on the y-axis, or an integer, I'm sorry, an integer on the x-axis and an integer on the y-axis. There's no decimals or anything. It makes it a lot easier. So you pick your point here and you pick your point here because those are good numbers to pick. They cross through exactly. And then you count up for your rise. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the rise. And you put that in the numerator. And then you run. You always run to the right. So you start here and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, my run is 6. You can simplify that to 2 over 3. Sorry, I should have erased this before we started talking. Okay. Ooh, what happened? Okay. Okay, reminder, lines with a positive slope rise to the right. And what does that mean? If we wanted to write a little picture to the right of this dot, I'm going to write it on the sketch pad. Basically what that looks like is if you have an x and a y table, then the line with a positive slope, the line is going to look like this. Okay, this is for bullet point number 1. Lines with a negative slope drop to the right. Okay, so let's say the example of this line was y equals 2x plus 1. Well, the slope was 2 and it was positive, so the line's going to look like this. Now in negative, it's going to be y equals, let's say it's negative 2x plus 1. Okay, this line is going to be dropping. It'll look like this. Lines with a 0 slope are horizontal. What would a horizontal line look like? Well, a horizontal line would be parallel to the x-axis. And in this case, it would be as if they said that y equals 2. Okay? And then lines with an undefined slope are vertical. So what would that look like? We would have our xy table right here. And a line running vertical would be parallel to the y-axis. So it would be like this. And this one would be like if you said x equals 2. Okay. Your turn. I'll give you the moment to fill in your notes. Okay, we can also use the formula given 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. The slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay.